almost just burned down my house.
Okay,
So
I'd like
it's
to call
smoking
this
pork
Monday,
chops.
April 11th, 2022 Board of Education meeting to order. If you'll please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission of the East Hampton Public Schools is that we partner with our families and community to prepare confident, compassionate, and collaborative learners who navigate a complex global society. And now for student and staff recognition.
Well, good evening to our board members and our student and family guests. I guarantee that this will be your favorite night of recognizing students. You'll see that Braden is a little bit shy, so we're going to have to coax him to come up and be recognized. But we're going to recognize the Arts Awards recipients from the Center School and the Memorial School. This is an event sponsored by the Connecticut Association of Schools. They usually have a wonderful banquet. I know this year it was a virtual banquet, so moms had to cook for this particular event instead of being served. But nonetheless, we're going to call up all four students. So Ella and Alicia, Kaylee and Braden, if you would come forward. And the principals are going to introduce their accomplishments. Come, we're going to have you stand right in front here and face the audience. And parents, don't be shy about taking pictures. Get the backgrounds of them up on the big screen and everything. And we do have two of their teachers here tonight, Sarah Maldonado, middle school, Memorial School Music Department, and Suzanne Fawcett, Center School Art Department. Thank you both for being here. And we'll do a picture with all of you in the with the students right after the introductions.
Seems to be some feedback, but we'll try.
Okay.
Okay, we have Ella Plaze and Alessia Vargas Mendez from Memorial School. Ella has been selected as the CAS recipient for visual arts because of her consistent hard work and dedication to her creations. She puts endless effort into any work of art she creates, no matter what media she uses. She is a creative student who always finds a way to reflect her own personality and style into her work. Ella is also an incredibly kind and respectful student. She is a role model in the art room as well as anywhere she goes at Memorial School. Congratulations, Ella. And Ella is on your right. And we have and we have Alessia Vargas Mendez. Alessia has been selected as the CAS recipient for music because of her exceptional work in the music room. She is self-motivated and driven to produce high-quality music, working on her own to learn and improve her music skills. She is creative and enthusiastic in all of her music creations and has excelled during the recorder unit. Not only is she an excellent musician, she is also kind, helpful, and respectful. She's a role model in the music room. Congratulations, Alessia.
Good evening. I'm excited to present to you Braden Flynn, that was selected by Miss Gould. When asked to select a student for the CAS Award, Braden immediately came to mind. Braden is a talented trumpet player and pianist as well. Not only is Braden a naturally gifted musician, but he puts forth great effort and hard work to be a leader in his section. He has an amazing ear and can play almost any song after hearing it once or twice. Braden's natural musical ability and his dedication to being a leader make him more than deserving of this award. He is a delight to work with, and I am honored to be able to nominate him for this award. Congratulations. And Kaylee. Kaylee always works in a steadfast manner, making consistent progress in her skills and understanding of concepts. While she works, She extends beyond herself to create a positive example and atmosphere for her peers. No matter the assignment, Kaylee participates fully and engages her peers to do the same. Whether individual work or group critique, Kaylee participates fully without a hitch. She really demonstrates to others the methods and benefits of resilience and growth mindset. Congratulations, Kaylee.
Ella, would you point out your guests and introduce them to the board? Do you have some people who came with you tonight? If you would just introduce them to the board, like tell them to stand up and say, "This is my mom."
Hello.
You did a very good job. I know, I didn't give you clear instructions at the beginning. And Alessia, do you have guests here tonight? I saw somebody taking pictures of you during this.
My dad,
What?
my brother, my mom, and my sister.
Great, thank you all for coming tonight. And Braden, your guests.
My mom and my dad, and that's it.
Okay, thank you for coming. And Kaylee.
Gladys, my two brothers, Nathan and Trevor.
Great, thank you for coming. All right, now, if Mrs. Maldonado and Mrs. Barcett, if you could come forward and we'll do some pictures and with our board chair. And we have a plaque for each of you.
So we'll have the kids in
We'll
the
do,
middle
yeah,
and
let's put kids right in the middle.
teachers on the outside. There we go.
We want the principals as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, principals come in and let's put the plaques right in their hands as well. I put them on the wrong side, so we've got Braden and Kaylee's over here. Kaylee, that's yours. Braden, you can stay right there, just hold that nice flag. Excellent, very good.
It is a nice flag.
All right. I have to tell you everything. All right. 1, 2, 3. Smile. And I'll do another one. 1, 2, 3. And 20 more for good measure. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Great. And parents, you okay if we put those on our Facebook pages? Absolutely. Excellent, thank you very much. And congratulations to everyone, thank you so much for coming. To our families, that is our favorite part of the meeting. Now, you are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you would like to make a quick getaway, now is a very good time.
Congratulations to all.
Congratulations. Thank you for coming.
Get the jackets.
Okay, liaisons, interboard liaisons, I think I saw Russ here. Hi, Russ.
I don't think anything significant to report beyond what we already know. Appreciate everybody's hard work. It was a true learning experience for me going through this the first time. I'm sure it was for some of you. Painful at times, good at times, and we are forwarding it officially to the town council, the budget that is, tomorrow's meeting. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
I don't think anybody from town council is here. Labor union representatives, Neil Shalansky did email me. He's watching the live stream, but he couldn't attend, but he did say that he has no updates to share. Now update from Mary.
Good evening. So this is such an exciting time of year in the schools because it's really the beginning of so many opportunities to celebrate our students, their talent, their learning. It's just a true era of celebration. So as many of you know, during the week of March 28th, we enjoyed our district-wide art show. It was really exciting to have this back in person. Student artwork from across the buildings was on display at East Hampton High School, and the turnout from students and families was outstanding. I know I was able to be there, and it was standing room only. Speaking of standing room only, in addition, our middle and high school students performed this past weekend in the musical Grease. I know you will hear more about it, but it was a great success for Belltown Drama Club, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to publicly thank Rachel Mansfield and Chris Briggs and Elise Chateau for their efforts, in addition to many other staff who supported the production and countless parent volunteers. It was really a community event, and so awesome to see that back. Since our last meeting in the world of teaching and learning, our 3rd through 5th graders have engaged in the English Language Arts portion of the Smarter Balanced Assessment at both Memorial and Center schools. Almost all of the assessments are complete at this time. It was our goal this year to move this portion of the Smarter Balanced Assessment up in the school calendar. We typically did both English Language Arts and mathematics after the April vacation, and we made the decision to move the English Language Arts portion of the assessment to prior to break to really spread that out a little bit more evenly for our students. So based on the process that happened at both the elementaries as well as the middle school, we really feel that this has been a positive change for our students. And the mathematics portion of the assessment will take place in May. Tomorrow, our 5th graders will complete the Next Generation Science Standards Assessment. This will measure the students' performance in relation to the science standards, and it's only given in grades 5, 8, and 11. So 5th grade is tomorrow, and then our 8th graders and 11th graders will complete that shortly after the April break. Our district school climate committee met last week to discuss our practices across the K-12 environments to promote a positive climate in each building. We discussed meeting with building-based committees to really start to reflect and identify strengths this year and areas for focus next year. This is an important opportunity for the 4 buildings to come together and really calibrate their practices. Finally, I've shared with you in the past that our beginning teachers go through a formal process in their first couple of years in the classroom called TEAM. I'm pleased to report that our beginning teachers are close to finishing this year. They submit their papers and projects for their final module of the year this week. And I'd once again like to thank, they are supported by very dedicated veteran teachers who really mentor them in these early and important years in the classroom. So I'm grateful for all of their work and the learning that they support for our beginning teachers. And finally, believe it or not, our Professional Development and Evaluation Committee, or PDEC, as you'll hear me call it, will be meeting after the break to review our year-end processes and procedures for educator eval as we really start to move into the final stages of that, as well as beginning to plan the August professional development calendar for the 22-23 school year. So, you know, each building is communicating to their staff all the events coming up, and it's going to be a really busy spring, but really exciting as we look at all the opportunities for our students to participate in athletics and celebrations and, you know, continue the important work in the classroom. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Update from principals.
All right, good evening. Andrea and I would like to wish everyone on the board and throughout the community a happy upcoming holiday weekend. With Easter and Passover falling on the same weekend this year, we know that many of our families have very special events planned, so we hope you enjoy. It has been a very busy last several weeks at Memorial School since our last update. We finished our March reading challenge by surpassing our school-wide reading goal. We set out to read 3,000 books over the month of March, and our grand total was actually 4,264 books. So we are very proud of our readers. In addition to a dance party and a pajamas and popsicle day earlier in the challenge, the students' final reward was a minute to win it competition between me and Mrs. Montavani during each of the grade level lunch waves. The students were positive, respectful spectators who continued to lavish Andrea and I with words of encouragement and positive feedback, as well as tips on how to improve our technique well after the event was over. So it was fun for everyone involved. Also in March, many students, as Mary mentioned, had their artwork proudly displayed in our district-wide art show at the high school. Memorial's opening night was March 30th, And our students' work remained on display throughout the following week. I attended as well, and I was absolutely amazed at all of the artwork, beginning in kindergarten and certainly going through high school students. April began with our grade 3 students participating in the state summative Smarter Balanced Assessments, as Mary also mentioned. For our grade 3 learners, this was their first experience with the state assessments, and we are so proud of the diligence and perseverance that they all demonstrated. Finally, April is recognized as the month of the military child. It is a time to applaud military families and their children for the sacrifices and challenges that they regularly overcome. This Thursday, Memorial's classrooms will be full of purple as we come together as a school community to show our military families how much we appreciate and support them. And as we return from April vacation, as Mary mentioned, we are gearing up for a whole host of activities in May and June, so everyone is really looking forward to celebrating.
Hello again. At Center School, we've had a smooth transition administration of the Smarter Balance Assessment, and we're moving into the NGSS for our 5th grade students tomorrow. As a way to celebrate and recognize our learning leading up to the April Smarter Balanced Assessment, Center School hosted our first Glow Day. The gym was transformed into a Glow Center where students competed in gamified learning activities and a fun and engaging way to show what they know. The event was well received by students, staff, and parent volunteers, and we look forward to making this an annual event. And it's almost showtime for Center School students as we put the finishing touches on Aladdin Jr. The week we come back from break, there will be a daytime performance for students and public performances Thursday evening, Friday evening, and Saturday afternoon. And with a slower than anticipated warm-up this spring, release of our salmon was pushed back until after April break. Mr. Moore's students' families and a representative from the Connecticut Salmon River Association will meet at the Salmon River in East Hampton to release the fry into the river on Wednesday the 27th. And April is the month of the military child. We will also purple up on Thursday. Sorry. Also this Thursday, before we leave for break, students will participate in a school-wide roller coaster STEM challenge. Students will collaborate to use the engineering design process.
I think we're getting feedback from the speaker.
All right, a little better, thank you. So before we leave for a break, students will participate in a school-wide roller coaster STEM challenge. Students will collaborate to use the engineering design process to brainstorm, design, build, and test a roller coaster using a few basic materials. Awards for best overall design, most extreme, and best feature will be handed out at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. At East Hampton Middle School on April 1st, students learned what autism is and the importance of celebrating and embracing differences in all with a presentation in homerooms, which was created by one of our 7th grade students. On Tuesday, April 5th, students and staff wore blue to support autism awareness. Friday, we celebrated the end of quarter 3 with our PBIS celebration. Students chose from various activities like kickball, going for a nature walk, playing board games, or dancing and listening to music with friends, which was the most popular activity. Our Next Gen Leaders Student Club has collaborated with our PBIS committee and developed a school store tied to our PBS reward system. We had 2 students today who earned a positive office referral for showing compassion to a peer in need, and both were able to choose prizes from our school store. Last Friday night, Emily and I were able to go see the production of Grease. Our students put a lot of time and energy into this show, and it certainly paid off. Special thanks to Mr. Briggs, Mrs. Worma, and Mr. Carey, who all had parts in helping facilitate the amazing show. Early Act Club has been busy stuffing eggs for 2 community organizations, East Hampton Parks and Recreation and the Haddam Neck Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary, who will be hosting community Easter egg hunts. And last week we had our parent conferences. It was great to connect with our Panther families and discuss how students are growing and progressing through this year. Our 8th graders attended their conference with their parents to provide a progress update on their capstone projects. We have students working on a vast array of projects, such as collecting essentials for students in foster care, custom building a guitar from scratch, learning about reusable and clean energy, and starting a student-led middle school chess club. Our capstone convention will be June 8th at 6, and I hope each of you can attend to see the projects from the students firsthand. And if I can approach the board, I do have invites for each of you.
Thank you.
the dates that we passed out.
Thank you.
There. And I hope to see all of you there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And two for you, too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Good evening. As Mrs. Clark mentioned before, it's really kind of testing season at the high school. On March 23rd, we had our SAT testing. The NGSS science test will be the Tuesday after April vacation, and then shortly thereafter we'll begin AP testing for all of our juniors and seniors. Excuse me. Last week, Dr. Louis Carrillo from the VFW came across to talk to our students as a culminating activity on the Vietnam War unit, and if you ever had a chance to listen to him speak, I was enthralled by just listening to his experiences. He's such a great speaker. The kids really love listening to him. This past week really was a celebration of the arts at East Hampton High School. We mentioned Grease a number of times in the district art show. Prior to that, on the 31st, we had the East Hampton Music Boosters Cabaret Evening, and we hadn't had that for a couple of years. For those of you that were there, it was a really great opportunity for our kids to perform. In terms of some celebrations, last week I had the opportunity to go to the Cass Arts Awards banquet for high school students, where Serenity LaChance and Morgan Garcia were honored as the Cass Arts Awards recipients for East Hampton High School. And on May 22nd, we'll be convening at the AquaTurf for the CIAC Scholar Athlete Awards banquet. This year's recipients are Drew DeStefano and Liz McDonald. And then when we come back from break, our music students will be leaving to go to Walt Disney on April 27th. Thank you.
Thank you. Audience of citizens, if anybody in the audience would like to speak. All right. Consent agenda.
I would like to make a motion that the East Hampton Board of Education adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Committee reports. Student Board of Ed representative.
Good evening. This past weekend, as you heard, the high school had its production of Grease on Friday and Saturday night, and then also on Sunday afternoon. And it was a huge success because everybody keeps talking about it. And then a couple weeks ago, the East Hampton Music Department held its cabaret fundraising night. This was a huge success. All tickets were sold out for the event, and all the performances were very impressive. Big thank you to Morgan Garcia for coordinating the entire thing. She did an amazing job. This Wednesday, the National Honor Society will be hosting its induction ceremony for all its 2022 junior and senior inductees. This week is our last Spirit Week of the school year. Last Friday we started off strong with Blue and White Day, and then today was Matching Monday. Tomorrow is Tropical Tuesday, followed by Walt Disney Wednesday, and then Teen Day on Thursday. Last week, the art, environmental, and business clubs all joined together to host a campus cleanup. And in a few weeks, the East Hampton Music Department will be traveling to Disney in Florida to compete in the music festival competition that is being held there. Both the band and chorus will be performing at this event. And then for our athletic updates, softball unfortunately lost their game 1-13 against Cromwell, but they are scheduled again to play tonight against HK. Baseball in their season opener defeated Morgan, and they are currently hold a 1-win and 1-loss season record, and they are also scheduled to play HK tonight. And then track is off to a strong start. They competed last Tuesday against Valley Regional in Portland, and then again this past Saturday at Lyme Old Lyme. We had impressive performances from each of the athletes, and some of them have already qualified for the Shoreline Championships in their first 2 meets of the season, which is crazy. And then in his first meet of the season, Nick Regardlands broke the current school record for pole vault, and he vaulted 14 feet. So hopefully he can just keep breaking his own record. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, 18 personnel, there is none to report. Policy and curriculum, Nancy.
We did not meet tonight, but we do have some items coming up later in the agenda.
Thank you. Finance, transportation, building and grounds, Josh.
No report.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Mr. Smith.
So I know many of you were at the meeting last Wednesday, April 6th. The Board of Finance decided to reduce the budget by $52,500. And as Russ mentioned, that budget will go to the Town Council tomorrow evening. At this point, it's not necessary for us to identify the $52,500. I'd rather wait until we had more information about the budget. We're going to know more about gas, electricity, and things like that, and hopefully we'll see some savings in other areas, but probably right after the referendum or early June, whichever comes first. Karen and I will have a list of suggestions for you for that $52,500. Like I said, the Town Council will accept the budget tomorrow night. I don't think there's anything on their agenda but to accept it. Their next meeting is the 26th. There's also a possibility, since this is a short session of the General Assembly, there was talk about moving the referendum back into May instead of early June, like I reported in today's update. We have a meeting tomorrow to determine where they're going to do the referendum. There's some concern about doing it at the middle school because the gym is not air conditioned. They would like to move it to the high school, but there's things that we have to work out because the high school can be problematic with parking and accessibility to the gym. But we'll work all that out, but at the next meeting, 4/26, anybody who's interested in attending probably know more about what they plan to do with the budget at that point. Also on the superintendent's report is an update about enrollment. It's in your packets. We are a little concerned that our kindergarten numbers are up higher than NESDEC projected. NESDEC projected 119. Currently we are at 125, but it's still early in the process. So that may require us to look at our sections and divvy them up just a little bit. We'll have a recommendation for you in June. We're also NESDEC offers a mid-year update on enrollment. We're going to send our current numbers to them, and they'll probably adjust at least the lower grades. There's a lot of moving around in the summer. Typically, by late June, early July, we have a better sense of the kindergarten numbers. With kindergarten registration continuing, and they do screenings, sometimes people just show up that particular week. So we'll have better numbers for you in June. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent? Okay. Program presentation. We're happy to welcome Jen Bove.
I'm just going to introduce Jen. This is a highly complex regulated program, and despite the couple of years of pandemic times, during that period, Jen has been a transformational leader. This current year, we're projecting revenues of over $1 million, which is up 175% higher than it was in the last pre-pandemic year. And in the course of that, not only has she made it a incredibly financially successful program, but she's done it by making it simply excellent. So she's going to explain that to you, and then also what you need to know about the things we're asking you to vote on immediately thereafter, the health and food certification. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Hi everybody. So I'm a little bit of an emotional wreck, so that just got me a little calm because my daughter is graduating college, and she had her thesis presentation today, so I'm already a little emotional. So thank you for the kind words. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jen Bove. I am a registered dietitian, and I'm the Nutrition Services Director. I chose this picture. Yes, that's me with the bleach blonde hair. At any given time, I may have a different haircut, hair color. I like to keep everybody on their toes. I chose this picture because it represents two of the three things I'm most passionate about. My family. I already said I have a daughter who will be graduating college. I know you think I look so young to have a kid that old. And my son is also in college, and I have a fabulous husband. And we all love the outdoors. We're avid hikers, we rock climb, I'm a huge gardener. The thing that is not represented in this picture that I'm passionate about is food and feeding children, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is my favorite subject. So we are a self-op food service program. That means we don't contract out at all. I report to the kids, basically, and we run everything ourselves. I have a staff of 13 amazing, dedicated, creative people that work in the 4 kitchens in the 4 schools. And I like to say we're the largest restaurant in town. We're on track to serve almost 250,000 meals this year. So I challenge any restaurant to keep up with us. These are some of my staff members. A lot of these pictures were taken while we were doing remote feeding and summer feeding throughout the pandemic. I can't stress enough how amazing these women are. They are incredible, and you will not find a more dedicated group ever. They're fantastic. They make me look good. And this is the rest of Team Awesome. So I am fully aware how lucky I am to work in this district. I have so much support from all the district administrators and from all the school administrators, and that is not always the case in food service. So nothing that we do would be possible without all of them. The pictures you're looking at were from a celebration we had to celebrate National Grilling Day, which, yes, is a thing. And we had Steve on the grill. All the administrators came out. We cooked burgers for all the families coming in to pick up their summer meals. We served them. I think Chris and Emily were taking orders. It was a fantastically fun day. And then the picture on the bottom actually was this past Thursday when I had 5 staff members, including myself, out sick, which is 1/3 of my people. And we didn't have enough people to serve in the high school. So we put the call out, and custodians and teachers all jumped in, and Mr. Smith himself came out to serve in the high school. So that's the kind of support we get, and I'm very grateful. So I'm going to take us back 2 years. I know none of us want to go back 2 years, but just to remind you, 2 years ago at this time, this is where we were. We had just gone remote, and we just started remote feeding. Little did we know at this point that we would continue to feed 7 days a week all the way through last summer. So this was the start of it, but it got us to where we are now, which is a much happier place, where we get to cook hot food and serve it on the lines and serve fresh fruits and vegetables, and we get to see happy kids eating together in the cafeteria. So we're very grateful to be where we are now. So I just want to kind of highlight what we've done, some of the highlights of the past year. In the summer, we were so excited to be able to cook again. We got together and we put together some really great new menu items that have really taken off. So we do a meatball gyro, I never know how to pronounce that, gyro, right? With homemade tzatziki sauce. It's on a warm, whole grain flat bread. It's gone over fantastically. In the middle, we have chicken piccata bites. We make the piccata sauce ourselves in-house, and we top it with fresh parsley, serve it with roasted zucchini. We have a teriyaki chicken bowl with fried edamame rice. We do a honey mustard chicken biscuit slider, which is hugely popular in the middle school. And we also came up with some new sides to promote veggies. So that is a honey mustard roasted green bean with sunflower seeds and craisins. And we have our Texas toasted tomato, which we serve with grilled cheese. So supply chain has been tough. Anybody who's gone to a grocery store in the last 2 years knows that supply chain has been tough. We never know from day to day what we're going to get. We've gone a week where we got almost nothing. So it's been forcing us to be very, very creative. So bread has actually been something that has been very difficult to come by. And we make all our croutons in-house. And we couldn't get the bread that we use for the croutons. So Katie in center school came up with the idea and pulled all the bagels out of her freezer that were going to be going bad before we could use them all. And we made bagel croutons, and they were delicious, and the kids loved them. And now we do that in all the schools, and it's really cut back on food waste, so it has been a plus. Another thing we did, supply chain was so bad at one point that we couldn't get paper goods. We were serving hamburgers and chicken patty sandwiches on coffee filters, because that's all we had. But we couldn't get buns for those sandwiches either. So Dawn in the high school came up with this sandwich that it is a bacon cheddar crispy chicken sandwich served between 2 maple waffles. Maple and bacon and cheddar go fabulously together. Again, it was a huge hit, and we continue to serve it. And then we used to get this amazing Asian chicken from a company called Yang's, and they have not been able to supply us during COVID. So we decided to try to make our own sweet and sour sauce, and it turned out delicious. So we did a survey of the kids, and the kids all loved it. One kid even said it was as good as Poe's. So this is my employee Jess, and we now make our own sweet and sour sauce in-house. She's making about 1,000 servings there in our tilt skillet, and again, it's actually saved us money, so there have been some positive things. And our favorite is that we get to celebrate again. I love a theme. I love a theme day. My favorite day of the year is Magical Monday at Memorial School, where we treat the children to a fine dining experience in our cafeteria. And we put lights up and greenery, and we put tablecloths out and candles, and we encourage everybody, including all the administration, we all show up dressed in our very finest. The kids show up all dressed up, and we practice manners for the day and kind of teach them about how you act in a restaurant environment. It's so fun. The kids love it. It's just a great day all around. We also love to celebrate occasions. So the green thing that you're seeing on your screen, that is actually shepherd's pie that my high school manager said, I want to make for St. Patrick's Day, I want to make the mashed potatoes green. And I was like, I think that's a horrible idea, but you know the kids better than I do. And she was right, we sold out of it. It was a huge hit. So that was our homemade shepherd pie. This past Thursday, we celebrated baseball's opening day. This is the only day that I'll serve hot dogs in the cafeterias. As a dietitian, I am not fond of hot dogs, but the kids look really forward to this day because it's the one day they get hot dogs in our schools. And just so you know, tomorrow is National Grilled Cheese Day, and we will be serving 4 different types of grilled cheeses in all the schools. So treat yourself to a grilled cheese sandwich tomorrow. The picture on the bottom was National School Breakfast Week, and those are our Panther chefs who are members of our cooking club in middle school. And they came in and we had them help prep a breakfast buffet, and then they served the breakfast buffet. It was so much fun. Great response. We had lines out the door. Thank God for the administration letting us go overtime for breakfast, because we had no idea we'd get that many kids in. But it was really fun, and it was a great experience for the kids. Especially after the pandemic, we've always been focused on healthy foods. USDA is very focused on healthy foods. But especially after the pandemic, we really felt we needed to make the healthy foods a major focus. The CDC recently released a report that showed that 6 in 10 children do not get enough fruits every day, and 9 in 10 don't eat enough vegetables every day. So we decided fruits and vegetables were going to be our focus this year. So we serve salads or side salads in every single school, every single day. Interestingly, Memorial, we actually didn't used to do it every day. We did it like 2 or 3 times a week. And then we had a 3rd grader send me a persuasive essay that she wrote and asking us to serve salad. So if a kid's gonna ask me for something healthy, absolutely I'm gonna give it to them.
Did they eat it?
Yep, and if they're going over great. You know, one thing that we find is when we give kids a big choice of vegetables and they can choose what they want, they eat them. It's when you're forcing them to have that.
So you have radish?
We don't have radish. We don't have radish. But there's always a little bit of waste, but those salads, we sell out every single time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that one was a big, and it was a surprise to me. In Memorial School, I didn't think we had the demand for it, but we always try to listen to what the kids tell us. That's the best way to make sure there isn't food waste, especially. Also, we have a selection of fruits and vegetables every single day. We try to do fresh fruit as much as possible. Really hard right now with supply chain. But for National School Breakfast Week, we greeted all the Memorial students as they were coming in the door with a fresh fruit bar. And we encouraged them to take as much fruit as they wanted back to the classroom and eat it with their breakfast. Kids were so excited because we had watermelon. It's like their heads explode every time we eat watermelon. So that was a great day. We also, my favorite month of the year is Veguary. It's the only original idea I've ever had in my entire life. We celebrate plants for the month of February. And we really go all out just to kind of let kids know how cool plants are and how amazing they can taste. We introduce entrees like eggplant parmesan. We offer veggie burgers along with regular burgers so they can have their choice. We do a lot of creative sides. We do taste testing in the cafeteria. And in Memorial School, we actually send vegetables to the classroom, and the classroom teachers do taste testings with them, which is the best way to get them to taste. And we don't care whether they like it or not, we're just encouraging them to taste and try something new. And this might not seem like a health issue, but it absolutely is. During the pandemic, we really focused on making our kitchens as clean and safe as possible. It was a huge priority for us. And in December, when the health inspector came, they gave 3 of our kitchens 100 and 1 kitchen a 98. And the only reason that kitchen got 98 was because I need to replace a prep table in that kitchen, and it's on order, but I can't get it because of supply chain. So really, we would have had 400s. And anybody who's ever worked in the restaurant industry knows that 100 is impossible to come by. It is a huge deal to get 100. You can eat off the floors in our kitchen. I'm so proud of my staff for what they have done here. This is not the fun part of the job, but it is the really important part of the job, and they've done an amazing job. So we also try to treat the kitchen as a classroom. It's not my job just to feed the kids. It's my job to help them become better eaters as they go through life. So we have our Panther chefs at middle school, our cooking club. We got such a great response to this that we actually had to make 2 cooking clubs. We had to split it in half. So every month we teach them how to make different themed foods. In May of last year, we had the first graders plant tomato seeds, grow their own tomato plant, and then we gave those tomato plants away on the first day of summer feeding to all our families. So it was a great way to just connect kids to where their food comes from. And then we had earlier this year, we worked with the 4th graders. They were learning about how food affects the environment. And so we had them make 6 different environmentally friendly meals all together in the cafeteria. And it was great fun, and they couldn't believe what they could create just themselves in half an hour. And then these are my favorite pictures. This little girl, we do taste tests whenever we can. It's a great way to encourage tasting. So we did plantains. For anybody who doesn't know what a plantain is, it's like a banana, but you cook it, it's very sweet. Most kids had never had it before. This little girl was so excited to taste the plantain, and clearly she was not a fit. But it was great that she tried it, and that's all we encourage kids to do. You can like it, you can not like it, just give it a try. And she did. Hopefully she'll be willing to try something again. And then we were really proud this year. We had the news feature us twice, both in good ways. Over summer, we had the new Channel 3 came and did a feature on our farm market that we did, our farm stand that we did for summer feeding. And then just recently for National School Breakfast Week, Fox 61 came and spent almost the entire day with us talking about how we were celebrating National School Breakfast Week in school. So the million-dollar question, what does the future hold? I'm going to start with the not-so-great news, but I'm not going to end there. Right now, the waivers that allow us to feed meals to all students at no charge are going to expire June 30th. They also have, those waivers also have increased our funding by 22%. My food costs have gone up 30 to 40%, my paper costs have gone up, and just the cost of staffing the kitchen is through the roof. So these waivers allowed us to cover some of those costs. They will, as of now, expire at the end of June, which means we'll lose 22% of our funding, and we will have to go back to a full pay system where students have to apply to be free or reduced. The good news is, 2 senators just introduced a bipartisan bill in Congress to extend the waivers for 1 more year, but it has to be tagged onto another bill, and we don't know if that's gonna happen. So at this point, we're waiting with fingers crossed, and I am cautiously optimistic, but not super optimistic. So we'll see what happens. I think the part that people don't understand about the free and reduced applications is that when you fill out a free or reduced application, it only looks at your income. It doesn't look at debt, doesn't look at assets, doesn't look at any of that. So if you were a family that lost a job during the pandemic and you are still trying to dig out, but you're working now and you have an income, and you fill out that free and reduced form, you will not qualify because it only goes on income. And this is why food service directors across the country, superintendents, why we're so concerned, because we know those families. We know we have families on the bubble that aren't going to qualify for free or reduced, and they have been able to get that. One thing they have not had to worry about is feeding their children while they're in school. So, fingers crossed, there is a bill out there. We are also in contact with the Connecticut government, and we are trying, because we have a surplus in Connecticut, and we are pushing for them to cover possibly if the federal government will not keep free meals for all. We're hoping that maybe Connecticut will. So stay tuned, fingers crossed. The happy news. So I know that Paul is really good at serving stuff, so I'm going to ask him if you wouldn't mind handing out some gifts to the board members. So my mom told me never show up anywhere without a gift. So these are actually grow kits that are going to be going out to every student at Memorial School. And they...
We want you to bring it back to the next meeting to see how you're doing.
That's right, exactly. Exactly. It is a packet of seeds. Oops, you have to keep the pot.
Oh, I pulled it right out of the pot. Sorry, there you go.
It is a peat pot, some seeds, some dirt, and all the instructions to grow their own plant at home. And this is our way of kicking off and announcing to them about our Memorial School garden. Thank you for approving the grant for the garden. This is my most exciting thing that I've happened in a long time, which I know is a sad statement on my life. There is no better way to connect kids with the food that they eat than to have them grow it themselves. There's so much research behind school gardens and community gardens, and it is a basic life skill to be able to grow your own food. There's so much that we can do with this, that we can expand it in. I'm so excited. Just a few of the things, we will be using the food in the cafeterias, we'll be using them in taste tests, we'll be doing special recipes. We're working with TLC and Transition Academy, and we're gonna have some of those students help us build the garden and maintain the garden. And it's a win-win. We get help with the garden, they get life skills training and work training. It's a great trade-off. And the kids will be planting, growing, and harvesting everything themselves with our help. So this is truly a community and child-driven effort, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And then continuing farm to school besides outside the garden, this is my focus for next year. We're working with the Farm to School Collaborative at UConn to try to source more local produce. In times of supply chain, local produce is so much easier to get than other produce. So this is something that we've really been exploring more of. We do source local produce right now from our produce vendor, and we'll continue to do that, but we'd like to get farms themselves a little more involved. We have a Meet Your Farmer Day that we're going to do at Memorial School with Jessica Stone from Cold Spring Farms. She's going to be an advisor for us, so she's going to come in and meet the kids and talk about farming. And we're hoping to adopt a cow through the Dairy Association. We'll see how that goes. It's just in the starting talks of it, so stay tuned.
Let's put on the front lawn of the town hall.
The cow does come. When you adopt the cow, it comes and visits. So yeah, it's very exciting. So I want to leave you with this last slide. A study came out recently that showed the healthiest meals kids eat all day are the meals they eat in school. Eating your meals in school has been shown to reduce obesity, it's been shown to reduce poor health outcomes, and it's been shown to increase focus. Children who eat breakfast in the classroom have better ability to focus, they have lower absenteeism, they have higher scores on tests, and lower behavioral programs. Child hunger is a problem in this country, and it's awful to me that it's a problem in this country, but it's a problem in this country. And one of the best ways to treat the problem is to feed kids in school. You are literally putting the food into the mouth of the child who needs it. So, with that, I would like to thank everybody in this room who has been so incredibly supportive of us as we feed children so they can learn, and I'll take any questions.
Does the high school still make sandwiches made to order?
No, we do not have a deli program anymore. We couldn't.
What happened?
We can't sustain it through COVID. It's been a horrible supply chain issue to get the deli meat, for one thing, and it's very labor intensive, and we don't have the labor to staff it.
So what do they eat then?
Oh, we still have, we have a salad bar, we have a grill area, and we have a hot foods area. So they still have plenty of other options.
Do they brown bag it?
We do have brown baggers, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Was that popular at one time?
The deli station?
Yeah.
It was. I've been here for almost 5 years, and it was really going down in popularity. It's also the most expensive thing we do. So we had started sort of like switching off between that and the salad bar, and then when we had to make a choice in COVID, because of staffing.
Did it make money?
It did not make money. It sold, and we broke even, but it did not make money, no. It is by far the most expensive thing to, and the highest waste, because fresh deli meat only lasts so long, and it's anybody's guess at any given time how much they're going to use. So that's really what's so expensive about that, is the food waste.
I thought you switched vendors, something like that.
We switched, when I first got here, we switched from Boar's Head, yeah, but that was a long time ago, yeah. 5 years now, yeah. Yeah.
Any additional questions from the board?
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, HFC, yes. All right. So you're going to be voting on approving healthy food certification. This is something that we've been doing, I think, for 8 years now. It started 10 years ago with the governor. It is purely a state thing, and the state government will give us 10 cents extra funding per lunch served for if we meet the competitive, healthy food certification terms. So 10 cents is a lot. We're doing 175,000 lunches this year. 10 cents makes a huge difference to us. The interesting thing about this certification is most of the things that it's asking us to do, we're already required to do by the USDA. There are a few things that it asks us to do that are not required by the USDA. We've been doing, I work with all of the PTOs and the school principals. We haven't had an issue in a very long time. When we first started kind of doing this, it took a little getting used to for a couple of things that I'm going to explain. But I just wanted you guys to know what you're voting on. So basically, this is HFC in a nutshell. All competitive foods, that's anything that isn't included in a reimbursable meal. So, and not just snacks we sell, but like if I wanted to sell pizza as just pizza and not include the fruits, the vegetables, and the milk with it, that would be considered a competitive food. If I sold stuff out of vending machines, which I don't, that would be considered a competitive food. So any competitive food that's sold during the school day, and the school day is defined as midnight the night before to 30 minutes after school ends. Any competitive food sold during the school day to students on school property has to meet certain requirements. It has to either meet the Connecticut nutrition standards, which already all my food has to meet something very close to that called Smart Snacks. Competitive is just slightly stricter with things like saturated fat and sodium. That's really the only difference. But already, pretty much everything that I was doing already, everything already met this. It affects fundraisers. So all fundraisers involving food, either they have to use food that complies with CNS, or they have to not sell it to kids during the school day. So parents can come and pick it up. That's completely fine. Or they can do it at an event, like a football game, a softball game, that sort of thing. And then any celebrations or events that involve food, they can't involve selling the food to the students, and I'll explain that in a second, unless that food meets the CNS requirements. So where this comes into play are the pizza parties at the end of the school year. Typically, like a room mom would, is that even a term anymore, room mom? I feel like that's not a term anymore. Room person, they would come and they would collect from all the parents, and they would all donate, and they would go buy pizza. Technically, that's considered selling the food to the child, because the child is the one. So this is where it gets, like, this is really the only area that it is a little bit tricky. They can still do it, they just have to donate the food and not the money. So what we have parents do is they come in with rather than donate, somebody comes in with pizza, and somebody comes in with the orange juice, and somebody comes in, and that's completely fine. They just can't donate the money for it. It's anything that's seen as giving money from a child for food that does not meet the CNS requirements is considered not healthy food certified. So tonight you're going to vote to continue healthy food certification, which I sincerely hope you do because I really need that money. And you're going to vote on an exemption. And this exemption allows us to sell foods during sporting events and other events like the plays. It allows us to sell as long as the event is after the school day and it is an event, then you can sell stuff that is not CNS approved. So that's the exemption that you'll be voting on. We do have food that we sell in the school store in the middle school right now, and I order it for them. It's my snacks, it's my healthy snacks. So it has not been an issue. We work through everything. The PTOs have been amazing working with me. They still do the butter braids, the parents just going to pick them up after. As long as we're not giving food to the students, it's completely fine. So do you have any questions on HFC?
Do you get 10 cents for every word in the motion language?
Yes, we should. Absolutely should. It's an excellent question.
All the food you sell at intermission is through this, right?
Intermission in like sporting events,
No,
or
like band plays, because intermission with orchestra plays.
it's they can serve them. They can do whatever they want because we vote this exemption. They do not have to follow the school nutrition standards because it's after the school day at an event.
Any other questions?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm going to leave Girl Kits back here. If anybody didn't get them, please do.
Thank you. That was so kind. Okay, item 11, unfinished business, there is none. New business, 12.1 to approve the 2022-2023 healthy food certification.
You ready? I would love to make a motion for the healthy food option pursuant to CGS section 10-2215F. The East Hampton Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut Nutrition Standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut Nutrition Standards during the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organizations and groups. The next one's longer.
Do I have a second?
I will second it as long as I don't have to read it.
I was just going to ask you to restate the motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Would everyone like to make a motion on this item?
Oh, I would love to make the motion for combined food and beverage exemptions. The East Hampton Board of Education will allow the sale of students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut Nutrition Standards and beverages not listed in section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the food and beverage sales.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, 12.2. Review of recommended modification of Board of Education Policy 4112, appointment.
Yes. Okay, so this is a first read, and this is actually a statutory update. The update specifically refers to non-discrimination in pay to employees solely based on sex/gender.
Any questions for Nancy on that policy? Okay.
It is fairly straightforward. Okay. The next one is another first read. It's a recommended update to Board of Education Policy 9222, resignation, removal, censure. This one is suggested. Currently, we have the resignation piece. So that talks about what happens when a board member resigns. This is part of our bylaws. But it has been suggested by CABE and just good practice that we also have bylaws to address removal from an officer position. We cannot remove a board member, but we can, following certain procedures, remove somebody from an officer position.
The copy in your packet, and we'll put a correct copy in your next packet, we did do a few updates, and I sent the wrong one to Shelley, but we did define office, because this is not a removal from the board, it's just a removal from an elected office of the board. So that would be chair, vice chair, or secretary. And that's clearer with the parentheses that I've omitted from this.
Thank you. Any questions for Nancy on that policy? Okay.
Okay. And on the next one, I would actually like to make a motion to waive the second reading and omit policy 4300, COVID vaccinations, staff vaccination policy. That, oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Second.
There's a motion, do you second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
That is related to the fact that we no longer have the Executive Order 13G in effect. And that was directly related to that, so it doesn't apply anymore.
Any further discussion on that motion? All in favor to
Aye.
omit policy 4300?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, thank you. Okay. Step 5.
All right, and the next one. The next one as well, I would like to make a motion to waive the second reading and omit policy 6114.81, pandemic/epidemic emergencies.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
This too, for everyone's knowledge, was directly related to the pandemic, and so it's suggested that this is not necessary anymore.
For those of you looking at the screen, I apologize, I have the wrong number there. It was a cut and paste. It is, you are correct, it is policy 6114.81.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, thank you. Any suggestions for future business? Hearing none. Personnel actions, items 14.1 through 14.3, which include 2 resignations and 1 retirement, were accepted during the approval of the consent agenda. Item 15, audience of citizens. If anyone would like to speak. Okay, seeing none. Calendar of events attached. Mr. Smith, anything you want to point out about the calendar?
I think you've got a nice invitation there for the capstone. I think we're after April vacation, some of our most fun events and our biggest celebrations happen. We're happy that everything is restored that we did a couple of years ago. So keep your eyes out for my weekly update and join us. I think the next big event too we have is the Center School musical. But that is a big crowd in a small place. So if anybody's available, I think you do like a Thursday day performance.
Thursday day performance for students. You're welcome to come by.
I will gladly entertain board members if you'd like to come by during the day and see the musical and not have to fight for a chair at one of their evening performances.
Thank you.
Okay, item 17, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.